Thank you so much for tuning in to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. We have an entrepreneur on the show today, someone who can teach you how to become the best entrepreneur that you can be. Tune in. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. Welcome back to the show. I'm so happy you stayed. You're so good. I love you. You can get us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Deezer, Vimeo, Roku, YouTube at Dream Chasers Radio, Roku, and Amazon Fire at Yaya Diamond TV, and now on iHeartRadio on WCCF 100.8. FM. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. We have a great guest for you. I don't want to hesitate. We're just going to go straight into it. Welcome to the show. Please tell everybody who you are and what you do, please.
Oh my God. Thank you for that intro. I'm amazed. You have an amazing voice, and that's when I kind of got connected. So
Thank
my
you.
name is Vernon Brown. I'm the founder of What You're Happy. I'm a happiness coach and speaker.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I mean, how did you know this was something that you wanted to do?
I didn't. That's the thing. So kind of a long story, but I'll sum it up really quick. I was in a previous career. I traveled a lot, and I wanted to do something different and impactful, something that made sense. And when I got back to Richmond, Virginia, it was my hometown. I got some mentoring done, and I said, "What do I do? He said, what do you want to do?" And I just let him know the same things I'm going to say, impactful. And we known each other, built up a pretty good rapport those next few weeks. And he said, "You should really consider coaching." And anybody that knows me knows I'm not a life coach. I'm not. And so when he first said that, I'm like, nope, not happening. And I was 31 at the time, 31.
Wow.
And I told him, I'm too young to do this. And he said, like, "Bernie, you lived many lives already. Yes, you can." So I sat back and I thought, like, what is something that people have always said about me when they're with me? Not that it's just the common denominator. And they always said they felt happier. So I said, happiness coach it is. And that's how What You're Happy got started.
That is so cool. Okay, so like everything that kind of like you just stumbled onto it. It was someone that saw your potential and told you about it. Was that kind of weird though? I mean, for you not to know that you were going to be good at something, but someone else to know and they gave you the direction?
Absolutely. It's just that we all have I call them superpowers. I always make comic book references because I'm a nerd like that. But we all have a superpower that we think is normal. You think it's normal that you might make the best green bean casserole, and then somebody else would say it's a world-class cuisine on Food Network, right? But it's about recognizing when that superpower is just being underutilized. And until someone calls it out many times, you were relegated to just average, ordinary, and normal. And it's something that you can't see. But when someone that you trust says it, believe it.
That is so weird too, because I have been doing podcasting and people told me, "Oh, you have a wonderful voice. You have a wonderful speaking voice. You should really, really talk." And my mom says, "Girl can talk." That's all she says. Girl can talk. So I guess it came natural to me, after a while I kind of got into the movement. So, but it was something that someone else referred me to. And it kind of felt weird too, because I'm a vocalist, I'm a singer. Why would I want to talk? But this is an amazing venture for me as well. So now that you're into it, now that you've felt it out and you got your momentum going, how do you help others?
Can I make a comment about something you just said and I answer that question right after?
Definitely.
You said something about that your mom said, "Oh, that girl can talk." Oftentimes our family, friends, and loved ones, they'll say, "Oh, that's just Yaya, oh, that's just Vernon," because they see that every single day. It's not that they don't value it and love it and think it's amazing, but they get used to it. It's many times that when you go to an event or you'll meet someone who might not know you quite as well, and they're like, "You should really, step forward to share a great voice." So that's just something the audiences, listeners might want to be very aware of. This is a world-class question. When working with business owners, entrepreneurs, the biggest thing is people not recognizing that they've got to put themselves first. especially, whether you're at the beginning, middle, or end. I've seen it all the time. Entrepreneurs do not put themselves first. Um, and what happens is when we start wearing ourselves out, we got these big, powerful brains, big, powerful ambitions, and now we got these big, powerful, crazy lives. We think that we don't need to think about our own happiness. We don't need to think about our own energy. And it's the big thing that I do is I get people in the first step. I'll ask them, what is your happy? And they always look at me like I'm crazy. I get on stage and I'll ask, 2 or 3 thousand people and I say, who knows what makes you happy? And everyone's hand to shoot up, right? And then I will say, okay, good. You know what makes you happy? Let me qualify this for you. I'll say it can't involve any buying or spending. It can't involve any food or alcohol. Cabernet text will get you into trouble, and it only can involve yourself. And then immediately, like 98% of the room will drop down, and I'll ask a few people, I'll get them to pass the mic, and they will say, well, I love walking with my kids or doing things with my kids. And I'll grab my mic and say, only can involve yourself. Now, the kind of the impetus behind that question is when you aren't maximizing your life, is what I kind of call it, and putting your happy first, it robs you of your energy. And that's what happiness is for me. It's energy,
Right.
concentration, focus, awareness. Go out the window when your energy's low. You're not going to be the best communicator. You can start isolating yourself. It limits your growth. And then you will start negotiating with success. So it's about getting entrepreneurs to prioritize themselves,
Wow.
prioritize their happiness, and then we come up with business strategies that we implement. Because I can't ask you to do any work if your energy's low, because you're going to
Right.
fail, you're going to half step, you're going to hesitate, you might procrastinate, you might put it off. You do all these things because energy's low. So I always start by filling the pot up.
Wow, wow. You said a mouthful, really. You just like summed it
Sorry.
up. Be like, shot you down, shot you down.
I always want to promote energy. I love this.
I do too. I do too. And I think that helping other people was something that I really wanted to do. But I'm, again, like you, I'm not a coach. Okay. I can't be doing that. But I can definitely talk to people. I've been in front of thousands of people at one time. And singing and performing is something that I do. And I've been doing it almost all my life. And so, talking comes naturally. But at the same time, you said it. You said it has to not involve anyone else. It has to involve just you. You going after what you want. And I've learned to be selfish. Is that a selfish move? A lot of people think it is.
I think when you pull back the veneer, what selfish is, and put it into realistic terms, you recognize, from my understanding, from my practice of belief, it's not selfish. I think it's selfish if you don't. Because what can you do to help others, to contribute to others, to inspire others? When they hear your voice, they get excited. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not doing that, you're doing them a disservice. You're not
You're
helping them.
right.
And it's easy, but this is the thing, though. The things I talk about, they're simple to understand, but they're not easy to implement, right? It's simple to say, hey, take some time out for yourself. I've got a 5-year-old, and it's easy as a parent to say, like, oh man, I don't have any time. And like, it's easy to say, well, I'm going to take 20 minutes to read a book. As I continue to grow what you're happy, as I continue to implement new classes for on your happiness, as I continue, but you're like, I don't have any time. You will delude yourself like crazy.
Oh,
Like right after, we finish talking, I'm taking 30 minutes and I'm literally just going to act like a fool with my son just to recharge. But
yes.
it's easy
You
to
have to do it. You definitely. So I guess you're right. We have to do, and just a little example, but yes, we do have to do things that just involve us to see if that's something we really want to accomplish. So when you talk to your clients, when you do you have one-on-ones? Do you do groups? How do you do that?
I do have one-on-ones. I don't work with too many people one-on-one anymore, especially since all this, I call this the Great Reset happened this year to keep it in the positive. But I do take one-on-ones in limited, capacity. It works best. What happens if I started Own Your Happiness, and it's a 6-week class, and that has been absolutely phenomenal. I've had so many students register for it. And it works in such a group collective better because right now there's a lot of people who are isolating for good reason. There's some people who aren't reaching out to some family, friends, and loved ones. And so it works best when people see each other in a group. You got 25, 30 people in a room and they all start uniting and becoming friends. And so that's the big group kind of endeavor I've been really pushing. I mean, I did not recognize I was a teacher.
I know. I know. Believe me, I know.
You said something about being with your daughter, though. I just want to point out, like you said, it was a little thing, but I see it as huge. Oftentimes, we can forget that sometimes our happy can become entangled into other people's. And
Right.
maybe in your case, you found out, hey, I really did like it.
Mm-hmm.
And many cases I've
Yeah.
seen where people are like, when you take that other person or other people out of the equation, you're like, I really don't like doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And if that does happen to people, if you don't know what makes you happy, and I'm always reminding people, is you got to be curious about what could make you happy, what can make you happy.
Exactly.
Stay being
Y-
curious, stay a kid.
Definitely. We lose our curiosity when we get older. I haven't. I think I'm more curious about things than I should be at this age. But at the same time, it's like, man, I wonder if.
Those are
Hmm.
powerful words.
That's my
You
that's my sentence. I start my sentences like that. I wonder if.
it does keep you. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
It's curiosity is again a superpower that gets underutilized as we step out of college or we step out of school, because
Mm,
if you're curious, and I'm not trying to bash society, but you're taught to, if you're curious, you're going to ultimately fail. Don't do
right.
that, you don't want to get hurt. Don't do that, that could be a risk. And as we get older, we tend to try to mitigate risk, and we
Hmm.
also limit our success by doing so.
Right. Right.
Calculated risk. That's why I'm big on strategy. Like, I love strategy. Like, I'm not telling you to walk off a cliff and see if you're going to fly in your business to be successful. What I'm saying is, hey, let's explore to see if someone else has succeeded, and maybe we can
Hmm.
reverse engineer it. Have you tried it this way? Maybe
Right.
that's why it didn't work. The conditions weren't the same. If you're
Hmm.
trying to sell umbrellas in the middle of winter, it's not going to work. That's
No.
not. But if you did it in the fall, guess what? There's a stronger possibility it's going to work. So it's
Yep.
calculated.
Definitely. Wow. Well, okay. So how can people reach you? How can they become a part of your program?
Well, it's and thank you for asking. It's a fast way is just go send me an email, Vernon at what'syourhappy.com, VERNON, and it's what's your happy, and you spell happy with an I.
Mm,
Or you ask why an I, I'm going to let you know why an I, because you matter. But
that's
it's
nice.
people forget how much they matter,
Yeah,
and honestly, happy when you see it spelled that way, it wakes you up. You're like, why did he spell it like that?
exactly. I want to know why.
Now, guess what? Now we're talking. Like, so what's that about? You already hear the topic. You're like, this is interesting. Then you see that. I'm all
Hmm.
about strategy, strategy, strategy,
Wonderful.
strategy. But yeah,
Wow.
that's gonna be a fast way. And I'm also active on Facebook and LinkedIn. Facebook.com/what's you're happy, and on LinkedIn.com/what's you're happy.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Vernon, so much for being on the show. We're going to have all of your information in the description box below. So you guys know the drill. All you have to do is go ahead and copy and paste that into your browser and click enter. Or if it is highlighted, go ahead and click on it. It'll take you straight there. I want to thank you so much. What kind of advice do you have for people who are trying to find themselves?
I think one, I want to say I appreciate you and your audience for
Thank
letting me
you.
into their ears. So, and I appreciate you taking the time. I think it's a couple different ways you can look at this. It goes back to being curious when you're working on finding yourself. And be curious and listen to people that you trusted, and things they might have said about you, things you might have disregarded just because you didn't believe it or you didn't recognize it as a strength. And I think the next component is you got to sit back and think about what you're amazing at. Not good, not great, but amazing. Because once you step into the things that you're amazing at, and I mean, I've pushed this, you need to be very honest with yourself. Like, I know that I can make anybody laugh. And it sounds so silly. Well, why do you need to know what you're amazing at? Why? Why? Because that's what you play on when you find out who you want to be. Because
Mm,
that's what it's about.
mhm.
When you play on those strengths first, or and take the time to figure out what those strengths are, you find out that you already know who you are. You just need to believe it.
Right. I believe it. It took some time, but I'm crazy.
You are a trip.
No, I guess, knowing me now and understanding what makes me happy and having the kids grow up, you're going to be forced to find out who you are regardless. When the kids are gone and everybody's gone and you're home alone, or you are just there with your wife or your husband, you will find out who you are, what you really like and don't like, and all the time that you've wasted to to give it away to stuff that you really don't like. And I'm not that kind of a person. If I don't like something, you will find out really fast.
I'm the same way. I
So
can't hide it.
Definitely. Well, I want to thank you again, Vernon, for being on the show. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dream Chasers Radio. And don't forget to what? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Dare to be different. Just be wacky. That's all. All right, guys. Bye. Until next time.
Take care. Have a great one.
I dare to be different. I dare to be different. I dare to be different. I dare.